7 Principles of Weight Loss. Without struggle, with ease, and forever. Most of us associate weight loss with an endless list of restrictions, fixed meal times, and exhausting calorie counting. If we constantly follow a strict meal plan, force ourselves to eat when we are not hungry, or on the contrary, starve ourselves, and at the same time exhaust ourselves with intense workouts, then we are doing nothing other than following a diet. A diet is essentially just an external dictate that puts us in the role of slaves to our own eating habits. It is a fight against the body that often leads to frustration, stress, and sooner or later, inevitable failure to maintain the regime. True weight loss, however, works completely differently. It is not about what someone tells us to do or what is currently labeled as healthy. It is a process in which we learn to understand our body and work in harmony with it. This means that we don't have to eat strictly according to prescribed tables, but instead we learn how to combine foods so that the body naturally and efficiently starts burning fat. Once we understand how our body works and what it truly needs, we stop fearing food and hunger. At the same time, we also start reconsidering whether one piece of candy is worth not losing fat for the next few hours. Weight loss then becomes a sustainable system through which the body finally begins to cooperate instead of resisting fat loss. It is time to stop struggling with diets and start learning how to set our body up for a way of functioning that brings both results and freedom. I used to do it the same way as many of you. For years, I tried to control my body through force. I was told I had to exercise more, eat less, and simply work harder. I had to stop eating what I liked. The result was a few kilos down, but also a bad mood from constantly having to restrict myself. The idea of ever freely eating what I wanted felt completely out of reach. Sometimes there was also fatigue, and the weight just stuck to me like glue. I realized this was not the way. I stopped enjoying following strict rules, so I just let myself gain weight again. But even resignation is not the solution. You might think it doesn't bother you, but then a single comment suddenly triggers the desire to lose a few kilos and look better again. This time, I told myself I needed something permanent, something that lasts. I wanted to understand whether weight gain is caused by the mind or by food. In the end, it is both, working together with hormones. I therefore started to explore in depth how our body actually works. I wanted to understand how much influence our mind, psyche, and hormones have on our weight, what glycemic index, insulin index, and insulin resistance are, and why sometimes I lose weight and sometimes I don't. I asked why I sometimes have such uncontrollable hunger, why under one type of stress I lose weight, while under another I overeat instead, and why sometimes the body burns fat, while at other times it unhealthily takes energy from muscles. It was a long process of research. Everything I discovered, I first tested on myself, then on my family, and finally on my clients. I teach them that it is not about diets, but about setting the entire system. Thanks to modern possibilities and technologies, I transform this summary of 7 principles and connections into a digital form. Once you understand how your body works, you gain control over your hormones, and you know exactly when your body is burning fat and when it is not. It is not complicated, but I still make myself available as a guide for everyone for 2 months on HeroHero. There you will find many tips on how to speed up weight loss, as well as my daily support. From these insights, I have therefore created a complete functional system that I now pass on. In my video course, you will find everything, from a list of ideal food combinations to work with the mind and affirmations. It is a tool that allows you to finally stop fighting and start truly working with your body. This is just the beginning of the journey I went through and that I now want to share with you. In the next videos, I will guide you through everything I discovered about how the body really works. We will break down the myths that hold us back and look at how our psyche influences the number on the scale. Don't expect generic advice from magazines. I will show you a system based on how we truly function. The entire functional system, including my 7 principles, can be found on my website. The link is directly in the description of this video. For 2 months, I will also be your personal support there. You can ask me anything that comes to mind and share your progress together with others. In addition to the system itself, I will regularly add extra tips and life hacks to make your journey even easier.